So thanks everyone for coming on board to this insightful webinar where we will be focusing on and more or less targeting project managers, contractors and people who are collaborating on projects within the AEC industry. We have a great turnout as I can see there already with the attendees. Our topic for today is maximising project efficiency through collaborative environments and unifying data. We will kind of explain the reasoning for this throughout the course of the presentation. I'm also, and the whole entire Symmetry are delighted and honoured to be joined by Lisa Stine from Autodesk, and she'll be introducing herself there pretty soon on the on her aspects of the industry as well. We'll be breaking this webinar into maybe 5 key areas. One is just kind of a brief introduction to Symmetry, an introduction to the speakers, what we see the industry trends, and then finishing up then with Autodesk and a Q&A session. If anyone has any questions at all during the course of this, please feel free to throw them into the questions panel and we'll happily answer them at the end. So let's just give a brief overview of Symmetry. So Symmetry is currently a company of over 800 employees, both in consultants and sales and technical kind of expertise. We are spread across 7 countries, all the way from Europe across to Western America. They have about 250,000 users daily on their own tech and solutions that we have. And since Symmetry was founded in 1989, they have expanded with 22 acquisitions spread across 30 offices, and in turn then they have 3.1 billion SEK within the industry. Our ethos within Symmetry is we challenge people to work smarter for a better future. We have a very big sustainable mindset within our company, and that's driven from our individual basis all the way out through to the way we work on Autodesk solutions and even how we develop our own tech. We have 4 cornerstones within the industry, within the company. Leading edge technology. What we see is that we like to present and proactively develop our own tech to suit the wants and needs of our customers. Because we have internally 800 qualified ex-industry consultants, we have the ability also to develop this leading edge technology. And that follows into our expertise and knowledge of the industry. We listen to the pain points of our customers, and with that then we start to kind of integrate this work smarter kind of policy where we listen to our customers and we help to solve their challenges and to deliver value by being a trusted partner. We have our own partnerships with all of our customers, be it that they ring us with any pain points they have, and also what we do is if we see anything that we might feel that is beneficial to them with regards how we can streamline their current workflows, we work on that kind of side as well. So kind of moving on to the speakers for today. Before I move on to here, I'd just like to just do 2 polls just to capture what the industry is at the present there with some of the attendees. So my name is Sean O'Dwyer. I don't know if you've met me before, but I'm the AEC Division Manager within Symmetry Ireland. I have started off as working with a consultant civil and structural engineering practice in Ireland. I have progressed then into the manufacturing, then into a main contractor role where we started using BIM and using the Autodesk BIM 360 platform. And since I moved across then to Symmetry, I'm over all AEC related topics, but mostly the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And our whole team are specialized there. We're elite specialized to kind of provide workflows, implementation and onboarding for all cloud-related offerings. So I'll just pass you on to Lisa there, which we're delighted to have on board here.
Thanks, Sean. Hey, everyone. My name is Lisa Stine. I am currently the ACS Global Partner Marketing Manager. So I focus on our construction partners like Sean, our elite partners. My role at Autodesk really is to align internal marketing messaging with what our partners are doing. So I do things like webinars like we're doing here, all kind of strategy campaigns and things like that. I've been in this role for a couple of years. Previous to my time in this role, I was a technical solutions executive, again, focused on construction and focused on our global named accounts at Autodesk. Also spent some time as an account executive at Autodesk, but previous to that, I spent about 10 years as a structural engineer working in the electric utility and generation industry, and also spent a lot of time in construction. So thanks for having me, Sean. I'm excited.
We're delighted to have you on board, Lisa. Thanks. So the next phase of this is where we'll move on to the industry trends, where we're trying to unify project management. We're trying to create more effective operation and maintenance. We're making sure that collaboration is happening on the field as well as in the offices. It's about deepening more partnerships between every stakeholder, between the clients and also with your subcontractors, and so that everyone is kind of singing off the same hymn sheet. And also with this is that we need to kind of try and make sure that security is a focus as well, and that this is managed through permissions, that the right information is supplied to the right people at the right time. So kind of moving on to the unified project management, which is one of the kind of the starting points there. With where the construction industry is at present, it's in silos. So you see the designers and all the design disciplines, the architects, the M&E consultants, they're all working in their own little design space. The planners are working in their own space, and so are the contractors. And in a construction environment, people don't really care about the operational phase of a project. And this is, you can see clear that they're all in their own little individual silos. And in order to connect all these, we need to try and have access and kind of a controlled environment that's spread across all these 4 stages of a project. So your design team have access to the drawings, the models, your planners and even externals have access to it. And then when it moves to site, then they still have access to it, but then they can start viewing the equipment and assets. They can start controlling the budget. And because it's spread across these 3 to 4 areas, the data is building up across all these stages of a project. And here's where we can start to run analytics and get more insights into projects, something that customers are doing at present, but some people feel then that we're not there yet. But it's to try and provide this kind of high step that they know that they can achieve by utilizing this connected construction. I just we'll say here, I'll let Lisa take on here when we're not unified.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, so I've got all of the negative aspects of these different trends that we're going to talk about today. So if we think back to the graphic that Sean just showed us, not only do we have those 4 different phases of our construction life cycle, right? We've got design, plan, build, and handover. We might have several different teams playing in each of those different phases too. So not only are those phases disconnected, you've got all of these different players in there that are disconnected too, and kind of sharing information in different ways. So what that leads us to are contractual procedures and communication processes. None of those are simple to manage because, again, if we have those 4 phases, and imagine we've got 5 different teams in each of those phases, that's 20 different teams that are trying to connect but are not doing that if we're doing things in a very manual and siloed way. Because of that, we also don't have any insight into project analytics. Sean's talking about how we really want information to flow from, again, design all the way to handover, and that if we worked in that kind of state, that would provide us a clear picture into how the project is progressing. But if everyone's working in their own way, we don't have a way to capture what the project's actually looking like. And that's going to turn us into having a lot of budget and schedule overages, which of course costs a lot of money and isn't super convenient, doesn't really help with team morale, things like that. We also don't have that single source of truth, which is essentially what that is, right? If everyone's working in a different space off a different platform, we don't have confidence that everyone is working off of the most up-to-date information, and that again leads to those overages.
Yeah. And here's where we say when we are kind of unified in a project environment, we move with confidence. We know that we have the right information. There's no delays because we're tracking everything throughout the phases of these stages. And we can also see different links between different elements of a project because we can see how the planning is being linked to the project, how the design development is being linked to the project. And it integrates an efficient workflows and more lean principles within the industry. And we also win more work because if a client is happy with an end product, your reputation is improved, and also your name across the industry then is seen as a more prominent platform. So let's kind of move on to just a quick kind of demo video on how we can review the kind of project management side of this. So I'll just hit space here to play. So this is kind of where we can track our RFIs. So the RFIs are just like people traditionally used to use an Excel log. So here you're capturing your RFIs within the platform. You can filter to see who these are related to. Are they open in review? Are they ready for submission? We can also integrate a priority status on all of these RFIs and filter by architecture discipline. Traditionally, people would have these in Excel, but it's only one person who's updating these, or maybe 2 or 3 people, but there's potential then for it to get corrupt, some other issues to occur on that Excel file. If the Excel file gets lost, you have to try and revert back to previous versions if needs be. So with this, it's controlled in the environment. The more information you put in, it's tracked in an activity log, so you can see the stages of an RFI from when it's submitted, reviewed, to finally when it's approved. You can start assigning due dates on this RFI, and you can even create suggested answers. So this is something that's pretty well managed in the platform. Here, once it's approved, you can close and distribute the RFI, and if necessary, assign it to distribute it to the creator, and also let the client, if necessary, know about that RFI. With these RFIs as well, you can also view closed or open RFIs. And because it's stored in a controlled environment, you can export out PDFs or even Excel. I'd kind of always recommend use PDF as an export, because if you export out as Excel, it's going to start to, someone might update that as an Excel RFI log. Moving on to submittals, because everything this is about unifying, you have your ability to have your submittals as items that are controlled in packages as well, and also you can review the status and also the packages of your submittal process. So I'm just checking here about civil works that are occurring on a project. If I want to see what the status that they are waiting for my civil subcontractor to come on board, I can track that. But I can see here now clearly that I've 2 submittals ready to submit. I can bulk assign them to a responsible contractor if necessary, or I can also import in multiple submittal items as well from either an Excel that's been handed over to me at the start of a project. By selecting the submittal now, I can open to see what the review status of this is. With this, you can create custom workflows. You can create a review workflow there, or have templates that you can say, I want to just go with a basic submittal workflow, and I'm just submitting that then to a certain person to review. By them getting this review, they can open up that submittal document, they can review it, add comments. But another benefit here is we can create a stamp that can be stamped onto the submitted PDF or drawing or whatever. So I'm just creating this approved as noted. it's a stamp that's going to be embedded onto that PDF, and by just clicking save and close, that's going to form part of my approved document. Just waiting there to save it. So this is a way, and this then falls into my area then in the review process, and then I can then, as part of that basic review, send that on to the next person for approval. So this is a nice workflow. The workflows can be as simple as submit an item for review, it's approved or rejected. We can also customize your status A, B or C on your reviews, and because this is a unified platform, I can link in photographs, other files that are within the document management platform, and also assign it to different packages. And this can also be exported into the docs area as an archived upon approval of the submittal. That's sorry, same one again. So here on the O&M side then as well, so we're kind of focused on the RFIs and submittals there, or like very basic project management tasks. As we move on to the O&M side of it, I'd at least talk about the negatives on this.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah. So when we don't have any kind of way to kind of manage operations and maintenance, right, those procedures there, we run into really difficult operation transfers and handovers. I mentioned that I worked in global named accounts when I was a technical solutions executive. So a lot of what I would see is general contractors and folks kind of managing the project. And then at the time of handover, our owners are getting all of that information. And if we weren't working in that common data environment, then the owners are I'm in the States, so I'll use dollars, but are running into hundreds of thousands of dollars, right, that they're having to spend just to pull in all of the basic project information that should have been captured throughout the project itself. So we're already starting, negatively because we're trying to compile all of that. The other thing that happens is when folks are done with the project, they tend to move on to another project and don't keep all of that historical information. So if an owner doesn't come in immediately and know every single thing that they need to manage that project or manage that facility efficiently, and they come back maybe 6 months later and say, we also need this information, there's no promise that that information still exists. So it can be very, very costly if we're not managing all of that in a central data environment from project conception. That also leads to a lot of increased time required to log and close service requests, right? Because we don't have that historical foundational information.
Yeah. And when we are in a positive environment, when we're unifying it and controlling it, our rich data can be used for planning and predictive maintenance. So we can, as Lisa said, we've no way of tracking it with a kind of uncontrolled solution, but within a controlled solution, we can provide predictive analysis on it. We can also streamline commissioning, because you're constantly having to manage a team where they're going, oh, what do I have to sign off on now? They're waiting on more work that's been assigned to them. So with a streamlined process, they can see clearly when they log onto a platform what needs to be commissioned. And they can also have readiness and have that once they hit site, they can accelerate that, and they can have more control decisions as part of that process. So with this is again on the unified platform again, where you can use the assets module to track all of your O&M and commissioning. So this can be customized to whatever category you want to have. You can import in any of your categories. So first of all, you control your permissions to see who has access to this. This is a secure solution as well. You can also integrate your BIM models. Here's where we can have our status sets. So you could have it that it's on-site, in transit. These can all be fully customized. With your categories, you can say, I want to see the status of that window, for example. By clicking on that, then I can view what's been previously placed in it. I can change the status, and I can also start attaching commissioning forms. So if I want to I can attach existing forms that have been taken place, or I can start to assign a form to someone to do that commissioned element. So I can track then straight away that that file has been installed, there's a form installed of it. You can also assign barcodes to this, so if the next engineer on site comes over and they scan the window on this example, they'll see exactly what status it is straight away. You can also export out a full list of your assets at handover, and they can be handed over to the client then as part of their handover process. Field collaboration as well is another key factor where people are a bit disjointed with their collaboration on sites. I'll at least kind of talk about when we're not collaborating properly.
Yeah. So when we don't have any kind of collaboration between the office and the field, this is really, really not helpful, right? Because our field folks are stuck in the field. They're not able to come to the office and talk to our architects and our engineers and those folks that are really focused on the design and different processes there. So we tend to be missing a lot of information if these two teams aren't talking directly to each other. We also see, I mean, I would see this a lot in my time in the field. We're getting plans in the field, but these are super obsolete. They've already created new designs in the office. They've run into some scenarios in the office, and so things have changed, but the field folks are still working off of this outdated information, which leads to a lot of inaccurate designs and also leads to a lot of, again, budget and schedule overages. I'll keep kind of honing in on that one. We also have an unclear design intent, right? If those folks aren't able to chat, they're not able to chat about issues, they're not able to chat about different design milestones we're hitting, there's just that huge disconnection there. And this, again, all leads to a lot of costly RFIs, right, or requests for information and change orders. If we're not communicating concisely, it could be days before we figure something is wrong in the field, and that costs a ton of money to realize that we've maybe constructed something that's obsolete and we need to take down and do differently.
So when we have an archive of all of our reviews, markups and revisions, we can have direct communication. So if I want to send one file, I can very clearly send that to any person that's on the project or even outside of the project. We can always integrate that collaborative process. And as Lisa said, we can reduce the confusion that we don't want to go to RFIs. We want to more or less capture the issue either at a design stage before it ever hits site or as quick as possible when we're on site, because that's where all the costly and the rework time comes into effect. And you can easily see this then at each stage of a project. And there's also accountability with this, because there's data being captured. It's who is it it's assigned to, how long it's going to take them to close out that issue. Whereas traditionally, you don't know, is this particular problem open a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Whereas with a cloud capturing interface, you can track when it's created to when it's actually closed. So you can and then not kind of, you can also control that to say, it's taking you 3 weeks, let's try and reduce this down to 2 weeks and more or less streamline that whole process. So with the field, the capture, you're using the forms. We can use issues as well, but forms is where you're adding more control to it as well. On the forms aspect, you can customize this into your own individual folders between quality, health and safety, commissioning. You can have your timesheets, site diaries, all controlled in this manner. So for this one here, we're kind of going through a quality handover. So you can say, I can view existing forms that have taken place. Here with the room sign-off, I can create very quickly a room checklist. I can see the status of existing forms that are taking place by other individuals on the project. But if I want to create a form, I just log onto the platform. This is on the web browser. I can create a form, or I can copy a recent form if necessary. But if this is a blank one, I just go create form. And here's where you can just go basic questions that can be fully customized. Are the walls sealed? If I go yes on this, the platform has the ability to prompt. So it has kind of prompting enforcement. So I can't progress unless I add a photograph or link it to an existing photograph. And I can start moving down on this platform, then adding yes, no, NA questions and answers. I can also sign this as part of my commissioning. And with this platform then as well, you can also track work logs, equipment, materials on site. And once I'm finished, then I just click submit, and that's my form completed. That's saving it onto the platform, and I have the ability to do that. On the mobile app as well, you have the ability to open up the app, view what issues are assigned to me very easily. Then I can view photographs, if there's photographs on the platform. But if I want to create a form on the app, I just go to the forms portion of it. I can see my current forms, review them, and I can also then go into those folders and start creating a new form. So this is a new form, what I have placed. I can add now, if I want to add a photograph to that issue, which again is enforcing capture, go through my questions, sign the form, and it's the exact same one where I have the work log, equipment, materials. I can also link it to other issues or even interconnect it to an asset. So it's a very quick process, and whereas traditionally you'd have to print out a sheet, go to site, fill out the sheet, bring it back, scan it, and put it up onto whatever siloed environment that you have. Next is the deepening of partnerships.
All right. Thanks, Sean. So when we don't have those deep partnerships, as has kind of been a theme throughout this whole entire presentation, our work is not connected. We don't have any kind of way to ensure that all of our project teams are talking together. And again, remember, not only do we have these 4 different phases of a project, we have many different stakeholders playing in each of those different phases. So none of those folks are talking. We don't have any kind of shared, we don't any confidence that all of the key project information is being shared and that we're all collaborating. We also run into a lot of miscommunication and delays and rework. So again, think of, let's just even think of the build phase. If we have, 6 different teams in there, if we're not all communicating, there's going to be a lot of mishaps, there's going to be a lot of rework, there's going to be a lot of frustration, and there's going to be super, super low team morale because we're having to do repetitive processes and procedures. There's also no easy way to share open and archived issues with the rest of the team. And this is really challenging because if we're working in our little siloed team, but there are 5 other teams, if we need to revise something, we need a way to communicate that to the other project stakeholders. And if we're working in that siloed environment, we don't have a way to tell them, hey, maybe hold up on this because we need to resolve this first. There's also no way to kind of hold the entire project team accountable to revise those issues, and there's no transparency, again, into seeing what's been resolved and what we're still waiting for. And that just runs us into a lot of projects or problems that happen later on in the project lifecycle. We don't find things out until we've already, we're in deep in something, right? And that costs a lot of money and of course time to revise those mistakes.
Yeah. Perfect. And with the partnership as well, teams on the positive side, what I keep saying is we can solve the problems before they hit the ground, because even though you've built something in the wrong place, it will still not be to the right standard and of quality to when it was built in the right place and the first time. And because we can improve schedule, companies are making more profits, and they can view then on future based on trends. They can say based on previous problems or problems, but captures that we've had already, we can have more dynamic design possibilities as well as part of the partnerships. So we're kind of moving on then to on this side here, we're going to play. Sorry, yeah. So here's where we get the insights there as well on My Home. It's a new part of the platform where you're getting constantly informed of all of your issues that are across your projects. You can have recent items, bookmarks. You can also delve further into this then, where you can go into your own project as well. So just opening the project there, and I'm able to go into the insight part of this. So these are dashboards that are being provided based on analytics that I'm capturing across the project. I can view the RFIs, my submittals. I can integrate Power BI into this. I can also see the trends of my RFIs as they're progressing across the project. they're broken into quality, safety, and commissioning. I can create custom ones as well. So these are the safety issues that are occurring on the project. With the collaboration side as well of ACS, you have the ability to track your models. So if I open up the collaboration side, I can see, say for example, your project manager there, you receive 2 models, are they clash-free? You don't know. You have to send them out to someone to review it. Whereas with the collaboration side of Autodesk, you can upload the models in and clearly see that they're clashing with, this is between mechanical and electrical. So I can see here now very clearly that there are issues already. They haven't been addressed. I have the ability to see if there's embedded models in there. But if I start viewing this in the platform as a project manager, I can more or less start assigning design coordination or even construction changes that have occurred. Like someone might have changed that supplied vent. They don't know that it's adding extra costs and kind of coordination to those light fixtures that are happening. So I'm capturing all these issues, and I can also see, is that an issue? If some of these can be field fixed, I can close them out too as well. These are all captured in the issues section of the platform. I can also see matrix dashboards as well. You can also track minutes of meetings here. So you can see as part of Toolbox Talk who captured what, who attended, and so on. And at the end of all these, you can run scheduled reporting that is going to keep everyone informed as to what's happening on a project. So this is where you deepen partnerships and kind of provide more collaboration on the platform. Sorry there. Yeah. So on the permissions, a few people are very apprehensive of security and permissions. So I'll let Lisa discuss about when we don't have permissions on a project.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, so when we don't have permissions on a project, what can happen is we can potentially send everything to everyone, and this is not always good, right? Where we do want to privatize some information. There is some kind of sensitive information that does not need to be shared with everyone. Also, when we share all information with all project stakeholders, people can get really overwhelmed and not know what they should actually be focused on. So that can be another problem, right? People aren't able to kind of prioritize what it is that they need to be doing. We also, in talking about those silos, the way that people are historically sending project information is through emails. So we don't really have the confidence, if we're sending things through that avenue, that people are receiving that information. I think a lot of us know that oftentimes emails go to spam or junk and we don't see it until it's far too late. So not a lot of confidence that if I'm sending key project information to someone, and maybe it pertains to, a really, really important issue that needs to get resolved on the project, that they're going to see that in a timely manner and that our project is going to be able to progress as it should be.
Yep. And when the permissions and security are controlled, you have a repository that serves as a single source of truth, that people know that they have the right information, it's fully version controlled, that you can keep different partners and companies in the loop of only information they want to see, not that site engineers aren't interested in design development drawings. They're only interested in what drawings have gone through approval processes and have been signed off internally so that they know that they're building off the latest version. And that with the security aspect of it, all bid information can be locked down so that any of the other individuals on the platform won't have visibility of what kind of strategies are in place for bidding for projects. So to kind of just give a brief overview of the permissions. So this is just the docs environment. You can, if you had the client, you can just give permission settings. You can view what settings are currently within the overall top level of the platform. If I wanted to add the client here to this, I just type in client. So and then I can customize what permissions they have. They can only view the files. They can't download them. And if I click add, then as part of a kind of testing mechanism, you can see then at the very bottom, if I scroll, when I scroll down, I can see who is being assigned a client role on the platform. If the client is on this and they want to be informed of just say cost management aspects of it, they just select more and go subscribe to folder. That means that anytime a file is uploaded into that folder, they will constantly be notified. And Lisa kept mentioning there about you don't want to be inundated with constant emails to say, oh, a form has been uploaded or this has been uploaded as well. This will capture all those information and be informed of any changes that are happening on the platform. So to kind of combat these, we keep showing that, this is where the Autodesk Construction Cloud comes into effect. And we kind of, there's a few features on these, and one is the Autodesk Docs. Here's where you go through the document control. So I keep saying that you have the right information in the right hands. Everyone is constantly informed. The flow, there's a control of the flow of information. There's no file left on someone's email that hasn't been uploaded. You can customize your sharing options as well on this, so that if I want to share some file publicly, for example, if I want to share documents for an external contractor to just price, I can share it, but I can lock that down and say this folder is only open for the next 2 days. If they go looking at that folder after the 2 days, it'll remove access. So you can create and customize folders to meet even your own ISO strategy. You can do it that way. So on the versioning then, Lisa will kind of explain more on the versioning.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. So with versioning, what we're doing is we're keeping everyone on the same page with reliable version control. So in versioning, if we go into the versioning or we look at a certain sheet or a certain model, we are always going to be met with the latest and greatest. So we don't have to double check that we're looking at the most recent version. We're always going to see that first. But similarly, we can look at different versions. We can understand what changes have taken place. So that's really nice. It doesn't have to be one of those. I remember as a kid, one of those games where we have two pictures side by side and we're trying to spot the differences, right? We can easily call out what has changed. But again, the benefit here is making sure that everyone is working off of the latest and greatest. So that means if I put a new sheet in here, my field folks are going to see that automatically. And that's going to mitigate a lot of the issues that I was talking about that we run into with that disconnect with the field and the office. When we put new models or new sheets in here, field folks can see that right away on their mobile app, so we make sure that they are proceeding with the project as they should be.
Yeah. And like, as you kept saying there, some places there are these out-of-the-box PDF compare solutions. With the docs, you can compare Navisworks files, CAD files, Revit models, and also your PDF. So it has this inbuilt comparing engine. You can also integrate the approval process as well. So if you're a design team and you have a design manager who needs to approve these documents, they can be submitted to the design manager, they can approve it, and that can be customized as well to another workflow where if the design manager approves it, it can go on to the contracts manager. And once it has gone through those stages of approval, the file is stamped and it can be copied into an environment where only the site engineer has access to that folder. So in the background, all these files are going through an approval process. With regards to the BIM Collaborate, which I showcased there on the modeling aspect. So BIM Collaborate is where you can review models and see how they're kind of engaging with each other. They don't have to be Revit models. They can be 3D CAD models. They can be IFCs, so that you're constantly integrating in the overall kind of either design and construction team. These can be automated as well, so that once I upload a model, or even if a model has gone through an approval process, all I need to do is go into my model coordination tab in the environment. I can see straight away, because that model is updated, has it added or removed any automated clashes. If it has added clashes, I can create issues and start assigning tasks then to the design team or even to the site team to say, can you confirm if this duct is in this area? And you're capturing these in a streamlined, timely manner. And because these are all founded by Autodesk Docs, the files are constantly being added. There's not multiple different versions of the files stored in different silos. It's all controlled into one environment. And because it's in Docs, it can move on to other aspects of the platform. So
like takeoff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks, Sean. So Autodesk Takeoff changes the way that our estimators win more work because we're combining 2D and 3D takeoff capabilities into a single online solution. So when we do that, we can help produce quality estimates for faster and more accurate bidding. We're saving time, creating competitive bids because we're performing, again, that more accurate 2D takeoff, and we're generating then automated quantities from those 3D models. So again, as Sean said, you can see at the foundation of this is document management. So we're always working off of the latest and greatest project information, be that sheets or models in this instance. We're also able to avoid rework because we can visualize project scope in that 3D capacity, which allows our estimating teams to better understand the design intent and any kind of constructability issues that we might run into.
Yeah. And it also has other solutions like symbol recognition. So if you're constantly doing takeoffs on a door, you can have this system can scan a door on a 2D plan and go, I want to scan everything that has the exact same symbol recognition as that. So you can clearly take off the doors on a large scale ground floor plan or whatever you want to do a takeoff on. Say another solution as part of the Autodesk platform is the build, which is what we've kind of mostly shown here today to meet the project management aspect. So with the project management aspect, it meets the RFIs, submittals, reviews, document sharing, and kind of uploading too. With the quality management aspect, you can start running your quality checks by the use of quality issues or quality forms. The same with your safety. You can say, I want to have good catches or bad catches as part of the out on site. So if you see someone who's actually working in a very good safely manner, you can capture it there and then, and it can add. You're building up your data pond to kind of improve analytics. With regards to project closeout, say at the end of a project, you want to review all the commissioned aspects of a project. The platform has the ability to create as-builts that will export out whatever files you have, whatever open, closed RFIs and submittals, so that can be shared over with a client. If the client has their own docs environment or build environment, you have the option to bridge across as well, so that you keeping the files in your solution, and if the client has docs, you can just bridge across. So once the files are moved across into an archive or handover folder, they will copy across automatically into the client's one. So that reduces the amount of time a design manager would have to do at the end of a project to just do a closeout. You can also, as part of this, which we didn't show on this because it's a pretty large platform, is the cost management aspect of build, where you can track your budget. If an RFI needs to have a cost aspect to it, you can bring that into your budget and start working across your forecasting on cash flow. You can track, are we ahead or behind on budget? And you can spring different analytics and dashboards off of that too as well. And again, all this is all founded by the document management function of the platform. And with all these kind of data that's being captured, you can have better project forecasting. On the right are sample dashboards that are provided, be it via Power BI. I've shown some that are out of the box from Autodesk in the Insight module. You can customize these to suit any part of the project. You can see how your quality overviews are taking place, how safety insights are being captured. Like we've in some cases seen of all our projects, how many incidents are to the hand or to the foot. You'd have to do a lot of investigation to try and find that. But if the data is captured correctly, they can transition across onto nice, simple dashboards that can be easily presented to executives on the platform. You can track project progression. If you've been asked by your director to say, how are we progressing on precast panel install, you can very clearly see this with dashboards, and all that is doing is just sucking information from the asset module in Autodesk Build. You can also track your cost alignment. I mentioned previously there about your potential change orders, the contracts, how much is a particular variation costing. This has all been tracked as well, and it's been presented in dashboards. And all this then as well is capturing your document updates, the uploads to meet drawings, design collaboration and coordination. Is that all being met to certain deadlines? That's all tracked through analytics too as well. And kind of what services we provide then along with Autodesk is we're specialists in the AEC industry. We know the Autodesk Construction Cloud inside and out. We are elite specialized. We do discovery workshops where we kind of work with customers, new and existing, to kind of see how we can streamline their workflows. And we also provide technical webinars both to a group of companies or company-based webinars as well. We do consultation implementation both on a data management and kind of on any instance that you're interested in purchasing. We also do ISO 19650 gap analysis. So if a company is interested in meeting BIM requirements, we can do that. We do Autodesk training. We also do solutions for Autodesk, which is evident here. We also are a one-click LCA enterprise kind of partner with one-click, where if companies are embedding into their, or say embarking onto their sustainable journey, we can facilitate that too. We also do Bluebeam, Oculo, Celebri, and other products as well too on the, just more to streamline and provide, integrate more lean principles into construction. We also do project resourcing and technical support. Another thing we're doing is we're hosting our annual AEC event, which the topic of it is innovating AEC towards eco-resiliency. We have a great line of speakers on this, which we're going to kind of showcase how they're using digital tools, be it Autodesk and other solutions, on how they future-proof their industry to meet the demands of what's coming, what they see is coming. And it's something I'd highly recommend people to attend. It's free to attend, both in person or virtual. So if anyone is interested, we can, if you want to scan the QR code, we can do it there, or we can send an email and we'll happily send you on the registration link for that. So before I move on to any Q&As, there's nothing in the chat box here, is there? Nope. A very quiet audience. Does anyone have any questions to myself or Lisa? Oh, that's good. Do you have any questions, Lisa? Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
No, it's the Autodesk Build is it's the perfect platform for project management, for design management. We were on with a customer there this morning where we were utilizing Autodesk Build on a facilities management aspect, where they were pushing assets that they wanted to track what sites they're on. We were building it up and customizing it to meet those requirements. So there's no questions, which is brilliant. First time in a long time. So thank you very much, Lisa, for coming on board. I know it's very early where you are at the minute, so let you have a few more coffees.
I'll take a nap now, yeah. Thanks for having me, Sean.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.